Ready? Good night.
Good afternoon, Facebook.
Hello,
Facebook Live.
Facebook.
Glad to be back. Glad to see you all tuning in. You've been chiming in on the page, the group page. We've been getting a lot of feedback, a lot of questions, a lot of information. So I'm Terrence, and this is Charlene, and we're gonna get started this evening with Let's Talk Relationship. We also have the producer Lorinda sitting on the other side,
Hey.
trying to be incognito.
Cognegro.
I be bro to you.
Call it like it is. Call it like it is. All right. So listen, I want to go ahead on and get ready to get into the topic because in a minute the game is going to be coming on in a bit. So
Who cares?
we want to
Who cares?
get in the topic. We're going to ease in and ease out. So Charlene, I was watching in the chat on the chat page, and I saw a couple of your questions, or well, not necessarily questions, but your concerns and your posts. So that was it was two posts. That was a post that a guy you said had. I want you to tell me about the last two posts. I think it was last week that you had posted. But let's talk about the one where you were talking about bringing back. I guess you were talking about just relationships.
Well,
and
it
change
was.
stuff.
It was. I see it a lot. I've joined a couple of groups, and you want to be in tune with, the opposite sex, and trying to mend that broken tie between us. And it seems to be that our focus in every group that I belong in, it's about bashing each other. It's about men saying the problem with this is women, and women saying the problem is with men, and we should know that there is a problem. So why are we so focused on the problem, not focused on the solution? That when we're going to get back to stopping the battle of the sexes and get back to just simply loving each other, find out what it is, so that we can get that trust and build relationships again.
So you want to get that old thing back?
Yeah, we can't have a relationship.
But let me ask you though, were we really loving each other? When you say let's get things back, I mean, I guess like it was. How was it? And were we really loving each other back then? And we were staying together long. I know relationships, marriages, they were, people stayed together longer. But I don't know if it was out of love or was that a sign of the times because people just stayed together in marriage then. Marriage then was more of a religious matter. Mm-hmm. Now I think it's more of a business matter. But what do you think?
I think it's twofold. I think that that a lot of people did stay together because it was so taboo to divorce. You were really scrutinized in your church, in your neighborhood, or your jobs. People just looked at you almost as a failed situation if you divorced. So I think now it's more easy that people just say, okay, well, we can just get divorced and go get married. I just went I kid you not, to be a witness for a friend. She's got married, and this is her sixth husband.
Woo. Oh God.
And I'm like, okay, you got somebody to marry you 6 times.
She ain't shy about trying it.
No,
hey.
And I'm like, well, can I get a date? Can I get a date?
Wow.
And that's where I have frustrations at. You got married 6 times, and to me, it befuddles me because I'm thinking, where do you even take the situation of marriage seriously?
Who you asking, her or the people?
Anybody, because I can understand that people get married, especially when they get married young, and you don't realize what it takes to have a marriage. You just so focused on, which was one of my posts on love, that people, get married out of love, and they don't even realize they're not even compatible because they so much focused on, I want to be in love, that as soon as that love hit, they're thinking that this is the person they should be with, but you have no idea that you're not even compatible, and you expect love to fix that relationship, and love is not going to make it. It's not gonna make it last. You may have started out that marriage or relationship and you're not even compatible, but you have that dump in your heart, and you want to proceed with, I want to be with this person forever. So,
All right, but I want to make sure Facebook Live is tuning in, and if they got questions about it, if they got the answer to the question, feel free to hey, type it in,
Or
hit the
comment.
buzz and comment so we can see it, and we could kind of talk about those comments. But again, looking at, I guess, marriage from from the past, we got past a couple of decades, it was more of a religious institution, the religious institution of marriage. But I think that have it's faded. It's faded with the new generation. But I think the older generation still holds true to that's what marriage should be about.
Mhm.
Um, I don't
Absolutely.
think the younger generation see it as such, and I don't think they should see it as such. But they should have some. I think marriage should have it should be a value system to where, yeah, you should want to stay married. That should be the idea and the goal going in is to want to stay married. But you also got to do the things you have to do to make that marriage, to make it worth staying in. Because I think once you get where it ain't worth staying in, then there goes your problem. Because now we either got to fix it, we got to get the love back, or we got to say, hey, adios amigos. You know, it's too much been done, too much water over the bridge. Can we get that love back? And if you feel like you can't, hey, why stay in it?
Yeah, but for me, is before we even get to that point, and that's what my key is as far as when we come on this show to talk about relationships. As a single woman, I'm finding, especially amongst my single women, we're not even getting to the point that people want to start a relationship. Everything now is about, everybody's guards are up. Nobody wants to trust the next person. Everybody's in that mentality of, I'm going to do me before I get done over. And you don't realize that the person that you're doing over could have been legitimately someone that you could have really settled down and engaged into a relationship. It's more so that, like, they have the term called wifey. And if you look at grammatically speaking, when you put a Y on the end of something, it means like. And wifey basically means like a wife.
Right.
That means you're giving them all the wife benefits, but you're not actually the wife. I can't be wifey to somebody. I can either be your wife or I can be your girlfriend. When I'm your girlfriend, I do things in the mode of I'm your girlfriend. That means we're in a relationship. We're seeing where things going to go. And when you progress to that point that you want to take it to that next step, which is marriage, that's when I become the wife. That's when we do the investments within each other. You find people in couples investing more financially as a couple than you do when you become married. That's why so much stuff on court TV where you've been a couple
Right.
and y'all bought a car together or you put something in your name. And I'm like, why you do that and you're not that person's spouse?
Well, let me ask you: do you, and not necessarily financial, excuse me, not necessarily financial investment, but I guess the investment of, you are investing your heart. If you have been in a relationship for a period of time, I think oftentimes people do invest, and I don't mean financially, but just it's trust.
Mhm.
You're trusting that person, and if that person hadn't done anything to make you not trust them, then so be it. You do trust them. Still not talking about finances or buying about anything like that, but I'm just saying in general, people are building trust when they are in the relationship. I think when they are dating, until they call it exclusive.
Mhm.
Once you call yourself exclusively dating a person, then I think that takes the relationship to another
It does.
phase,
It
but
does.
it's still not married.
Yeah.
It's still not engaged. It's just another phase to where now you may invest some in that person. I'm not saying financially we need to put our money in the same account, or we buy a house together, or you shouldn't be doing any of that. I don't feel like you should be doing any of that, but that's me.
Yeah, you should walk away from a relationship with the only thing that you have that you really shouldn't have anything to divide. You're gonna walk away, and both of you are gonna lose equally. You both lost that time that you invested into it. So when like for me, if I'm in a relationship, it's not necessarily so much like I will talk about it financially. When we go into, I definitely believe that if I'm dating somebody and I need payment help with a bill, and I said, can I borrow $200? It's a loan. It is not a "you my man, give me
Did
$200."
you do the paperwork, or you just ask and somebody say, "Hey, draw up a contract,"
And
because you might be
I don't
on
have a
court,
problem with that.
divorce court, or not divorce court, but
Yeah.
them court shows, or can you just ask for it and say, I'm good for it, I'll get you back.
Yeah,
But
I tell my kids when we deal with business, if I have to loan my daughter money, I'm like, I sign. And she's like, I trust you, Master, but if you want to sign it, we'll sign it because it's a business thing. You have to step back from that, oh, well, if you love me, you would. But that's why if you watch the court shows, everybody was in
Right.
love one time and they're suing. So I just think that certain things, people just need to have a mindset of being professional. When it comes down to you trying to borrow from your mate, it is a loan. It is a loan. But if you say, hey, I'm having some hard times, you say, well, listen, I'm going to help you, babe, then that is a gift.
right,
And you have to know the difference.
I look at it if it's just I call it what I call pocket change.
Gas, yeah.
If you asking
People put gas in my car, that's different.
If you asking for $10, $20, $30, $50, I ain't gonna. That ain't if you and I are in a relationship. I'm not asking for you to sign anything or you got to pay me back for that. I'm giving you that.
Yeah.
But
that's equal though.
Right,
I would do it for you. You would do it for me.
That's
but
good.
we're talking
now,
about
you're talking about hundreds of dollars or thousands of dollars. Now you're talking about a business investment, and I'm investing in you now. This is an investment. I don't care if you're my child or my spouse or what have you. It's an investment. So you're gonna sign the dotted line because, like you said, you end up in court. They come with the income tax thing. When I get my income taxes, I'm gonna pay you. Okay,
you'll never get it. You'll never get it.
We'll be on court.
No.
Waiting on that. Let me switch subjects, switch gears a little bit to one of the trending topics that since the basketball has been off for a week, I found myself watching reality TV.
Oh no!
T.I. and Tiny, the Family Hustle,
the unreality TV.
And in that Family Hustle, I think that's it's probably been on for some years because they were showing some flashbacks of when the kids were small to these kids now, young, some of them adults and young adults and teenagers. T.I. and Tiny was separated recently because they say T.I. was, I guess he slept with, I won't say a friend of Tiny's, but it was somebody that I guess she hired or that was in her circle. But anyway, they had been separated. Now the final show was they getting ready to get a divorce. But my thoughts are because they have, not just because they had the kids, but they do have like a baby that's probably a year old. Then they got the smaller kids and they got them on up to the girl that sings. She's probably might be 21. I'd say got about 7 kids. But and they had T.I. got his business, and she came from a music background and business too. And she got her businesses. But my thing is, situations like that is where I don't take divorce lightly because it ain't just about us. If it were just about the two of them, divorce going to separate. Nobody's going to be hurt for about but a little period of time. But it's so much else involved that it's going to cut deep because they got time in, they got those little kids, children. and they got the financial investment. Now they got the split. They got the split. When I say split everything, not just talking about the financial wealth, but even the time with the parenting and co-parenting, the friendship. All of that's kind of. But my question is, how hard do you go for your, that family investment? How hard do you go to try to make that marriage work? Because when they had the little final meeting, it seemed like they were so standoffish toward one another. I won't say I'm gonna say they both were being a little selfish. And I guess when feelings is hurt and people
that's what I'm say. When people feelings are still in it.
Are hurt, then they really either they're gonna come all out of their face acting crazy, or they're gonna be holding everything in. So.
Yeah, and I'm not a fan of unreality TV. Well, but I know T.I. and Tiny. I saw, and I think the Date Doctor was speaking about it on his page and stuff. And with my viewpoint is the one when what they're doing now is they're in their raw feelings. So it's not good to make decisions when you're in your raw feelings. Somebody close to me that was very proactive in their children's lives when they broke up with their girlfriend. He was the type of father that was going to take care of his kids. But the first thing that the girl did was went and had him on child support, which in turn, in the long run, was beneficial to him because of the fact that it was over and done with. But
Right.
his immediate reaction was, that's their birthdays, that's their Christmas, because he was hurt. Because he's like, you didn't even give me the opportunity to even see what I would do as a man. You automatically put the court system in between this. And I think it's the same situation with T.I. and Tiny, because feelings are so raw right now. It is very difficult for them at this point to try to even make decisions on what they want to do as far as their finances, their business, or with the children, because their feelings are so raw. You may need that time, that cooling off time, to be able to say, you know, what is it that's going to be beneficial to us because the family comes first, the children come first. Everything else is what two adults did to create this problem. So they need to take that cooling off period. I would do that.
The children should come first. We know morally that would be the right thing to do.
But
in the reality of life
Yeah.
and how people feelings are raw and they hurt and they, you know, oftentimes the children end up being last. Not that they are not cared for, but you know, because those feelings are raw is what you did to me, what you did to me. They finger point and I ain't giving you nothing, I ain't giving you nothing. I think they should go ahead and bring the lawyers in. Now the lawyers will get paid and the lawyers look to get paid, but eventually I think they're gonna go there anyway. Like you said, they take that cooling off period.
I think it's throwing gas on
That
the
should
fire.
Yeah,
And
that
bring the
cooling.
lawyers in.
Well,
because
it makes them know that the other one is serious enough to where, okay, you because you know when your feelings in it, she may be thinking in terms of where I don't want him to get mad at me and trying to hurt the children. So she may be a little bit more, I say passive. He see it as he can get over and keep doing or not paying or what have you, and it'll go on and on. She bring them lawyers in. Yeah,
he can get defensive.
Then
he can say she's trying to get me.
But they already defensive.
Yeah, I know.
It's
Even more
already
defensive. Yeah,
because they're going through the divorce. It's already he was saying, oh, you ain't thinking about all that I've done for you, and she was like, this joker must be out of his mind. I was in the music business before he even had a name. Anybody knew who T.I. was? I was already in the music business with Escape. I had a group. I put him on. You know what I'm saying? When he didn't have, but he ain't thinking about that because after they got married and he blew up, then he felt like he carried the family. But see, that's them egos. And see, like you said, you got to have that cooling off period to see if you can get them egos out the way. And now let's get to the heart of the matter. Let's take care of the kids. If we got to split stuff down the middle or, he the man, he should actually let her have as much as he can without a fight because the kids are going to be with her for the most part.
So do you, with what you just said, bring up that point, how do you feel about prenups? Because I'm all for it. I mean, because when she came in, like you said, she had a musical background. He comes in. So they both ended up building something together. So they built their little empire where they had T.I. and Tiny show, and that's them together. That's not something they both had.
Right.
So for me, that's a lot of marital assets there.
Yeah.
So when you come in and even if you're married, I think that you can always talk about, if you can. Some people get very sensitive about it. They think it's a lack of trust. This is this is a sign of the times. What's going to happen if we invest in this business? Just like even with my children, I talk to them about if something was to happen to me, who gets what, and which person is going to get something. They both verbally know. So now I have to put it in writing. So it's the same thing as talking to a husband or a wife.
A little different.
It's a little bit different.
Because your kids are going to be open to what you say.
Yeah, because
that other spouse is going to be. It's different.
Some children are different. Some children be fighting over.
Oh yeah. Some, but once you get older, once you got a parent that's kind of older and incohesive, and one of the children has probably been taking care of that parent, then they get a little bit more defensive, like they should get more.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, as young children and the parent is still able to work, make money, and do, the kids are open to, they want to be a part of that business. That's it's a legacy.
Yeah.
That's being handed to them. But like you said, once a parent is where they can't, I guess they make a will or something out for for their estate, and they have a person. And most times the kid that's been there taking care of that parent during that rough time, not necessarily expects more, but then again, some do. I've seen it both ways, of where and most of them ain't gonna say it, but I know in the hearts of man, everybody do something for something. They just feel like if I took care of this parent more than anybody, all my other siblings did, I should be able to get more just because.
Well,
there shouldn't be no argument.
Yes.
Wasn't it T.I.? Didn't you say T.I. was the one who cheated?
With somebody in that circle.
So you would think he would be guilty,
but that's why I
have
living
some
freedom,
kind of
because
remorse and just go ahead and let her.
But that's the male ego.
Well, I mean,
you ever watch Cheaters?
Well, but most people say
I mean, you cheated, you screwed up.
But
so
the cheat, that means you were human.
Okay, fine, but you still screwed up.
But they can still get beyond that and stay married just because he was a celebrity out there anyway. So now he screwed up one. I mean, if that's something he did,
if people are shocked, and I would believe. I have to agree with him.
But I'm just saying,
because we are so when we talked about unconditional love before, and people know how.
Right.
This is what always gets me when we talk about infidelity. We act like that is just the most god awful thing in the world,
right?
And it hurts. And I'm not condoning, cheating, but I just believe that if what you're basically saying is someone can make a mistake, and they can't be forgiven for that mistake. That if that person was to cheat on you, then what about everything else? What about a lie? What about not paying? What about financial, somebody has a gambling addiction?
Right.
All these things we're basically saying you have to love me and marry me, and that love's supposed to perfect you. That people always say, if you love me, you won't cheat. No, sometimes it's a character flaw. And sometimes it's just the fact that person just...
But if you do it, okay, for whatever reason, you're human and you're flawed and all that. Right. Okay, now you've made this mess. It would seem
but I wouldn't say that's a mess. It is
a mess.
It is a mess.
No, but that ain't the incident.
She didn't say, "Oh, baby, I forgive you." She said, "Oh, baby, I'm divorcing you."
Right. So that's
a mess.
Yeah, but that's them. That ain't him. What he did was infidelity. He had sex with another woman. She could forgive him because they got 7 kids. And
she could, but she didn't.
And accept it, right? But I'm just saying that you got to look at the situation, the incident that he did.
No,
he didn't go out. No, because that's still part of it.
But why
you can't say because he did that. Oh, he the one that caused the family all this to break up. No, I'm sure she's done some things too that he could. And it don't have to be infidelity, but there are other things that people can do, like addictions, that they stick it out.
That they're in.
Well, they're in a situation where they could stay together or they could split up.
His cheating could have been the straw.
They can.
His cheating could have been the straw to broke the camel's back. So let's just say she done stuff or whatever, wasn't a good housekeeper or was terrible. But let's just say that. So now he's cheated. I feel the way you feel, and this is what when I watch Cheaters, this is what I see. They start to blame the victim. And that's what, I don't know what happened with T.I. and Tiny, but I agree with you. I cheated. I faltered. I need to do something to make it right.
He ain't denying that.
Yeah, okay, he's not denying that.
He can't.
But what women, as a woman,
you got to give her time.
Yes, we want to understand why, because a lot of times with women we feel like there's something wrong with us that made that person go out there and to be with somebody else, because especially with the history that they have and as long as they've been together and stuff like that, you're going to always think that you're infallible because they have that connection that people were saying and they couldn't they saw all that going on with them. She needs that time because there's always a possibility that they can reconcile, but the more they throw stones at each other, the harder it is to come back.
This is the point that I was attempting to make. If we've already passed the point where I'm willing to talk about forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
We're already at the point that we're talking about divorce.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so everybody's in agreement. We're getting a divorce. Now we got to think about the kids. Since I was the one, if I was T.I., if I was the one who brought the straw that broke the camel's back, it seems like I would want to be a little more humble, just because I've got these children and I've hurt her for the last time or the first time or the whatever time. That's all I was saying. That, okay, the adult thing would be to do that. I'm not all in my
feelings,
my manness and my ego and all of that, because I did this. So,
and I was that person. And because a lot of times what we can do,
it's not okay,
is you can say things and you've never experienced it, but I've been cheated on.
Sure.
And when it came down to it, I accepted it and I moved on. When I cheated, to a technicality, I cheated because I was married, but we were separated. So he called it cheating. We was not together. And when he found out I was seeing somebody else, it hurt. It hurt him. Now, for me, it hit me hard because even though we were separated, I could imagine what he felt like. Because even through the trauma of our marriage, the one thing that was true is that we loved each other.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it affected me to a way that I didn't want to bring more pain to him, because when I was seeing somebody else, his thoughts were he always wanted to try to reconcile the marriage, but I wasn't at that level. And because I had been cheated on before, and he viewed it as cheating because legally we were still married, even though we had been separated for 2 years at that point that I was seeing somebody else. He was devastated by that because we had that conversation and communication with the kids. He thought that because we had always got back, because today is my 17-year anniversary. Or when I left him. Yes, today is my 17-year anniversary.
So break-anniversary.
Yes. It's my freedom-versary. So yeah. So he was really, and that's what I say when you're in a marriage. When people have problems, it's always two levels. The one person that's okay with breaking up and the other person that's not. Because one person has made the decision they want to move on and the other person has not. So when we and him were in communication, he's thinking, she's being nice to me, I'm going to be able to get her back like I used to. And that bird was gone and he didn't realize it. But when the reality came, I was seeing somebody else, it sent him over the edge. It was.
He became a believer.
He became a believer and a stalker. Yeah, he was stalking me.
Oh my God. Okay, that's
I ain't surprised, because when people do something to you, like you said, they feel like it's okay, you should understand it. Then when it's done to them, now they can really feel it. But like you said too, if you've been on both sides of that,
you can see
it. Then you can see what you can feel what they feel, but also too that, like, okay, that's that person's feeling though. You still got to go on with what you have decided to do. You just understand. You're compassionate, but you still got to go on.
Because a cheater wants to be forgiven, and a person that cheated on always going to say it's not. So if you are a person that, like T.I. will want to be that person that says, okay, but I love you. If you love me, forgive me and stuff. And that's what he's going to put. He's on that side of the fence. He's the cheater. But if it was T.I., if it was Tiny that cheated on him, then he may feel differently because he's going to feel the pain. So and that's where I am on my walk, is to try to figure out, well, what side of the fence am I on? Am I on this side that believes that if you cheat, it's over and it's done with? Or I'm on the side of the fence that believe if you can cheat, and it depends on the situation and circumstance, can you rebuild a marriage? Because I would never want to sit here and be that person that flip-flops just to make it advantageous to me, because that's what we tend to do as human beings. We believe in what's going to be better for us.
But it's a choice.
Yeah.
Because it's an individual situation with, say, like, it may be one person that you may have been involved with that you may give another chance, whereas some other person you may have been involved with, you might not give another chance to.
But that means you have a belief in second chances, though.
Well, in that person, because what you feel about one person is going to be different than what you feel about another person. You can't feel the same way, or the exact same way about two people. Even if you've been married twice to two different people, you ain't gonna feel the same way about those individual people because they ain't the same person. But so you have to make a decision with that person that you was in a relationship with, how you feel and what you want to do, and opposed to I just concrete. You know, some people can be just concrete and point blank. The wall is down. Hey, it's cut and dry. You cheated, I'm done with you. They can do that with everybody. That ain't me. I mean, I'm gonna deal with the individual that I'm dealing with at that particular time. It may be different than some individual that I've dealt with. You know, it ain't gonna be. It can't be necessarily the same. I can't say what I would do with someone else, in opposed to what I've done in the past. Mm-hmm. I'm a different person, and the person that I'm dealing with is a different person. So, with T.I. and Tiny, it's more of the egos is still up. You know, that's first of all, you got to get past the ego and the pride, because I think that's what kills everything in relationships, the ego and the pride thing. And most people don't get beyond that pride and, you know, my swagger, my it don't stink and all that. But
I think that's even worse because everybody knows because, you know, even in, like for me,
that's the worst.
Yeah, I'm just a normal everyday female. And you know, even with the situation I went through within my marriage, nobody knew because my mouth was shut. Because at the end of the day, I knew that I was going to stay in my marriage and try to make it work. So by me feeding so many people information, they're going to possibly side with me because they're my friends. And that's where it creates so much problems because you feed so much information and you're going to always feed your side.
Right.
Your side. So when I left and people want to know I left, to this day, they, except for people that was close to me, know why we separated. You don't see me bash it because people didn't even know I was married because I never talked about it because I made the choice that I needed to make and know what's best for me to leave. And so bashing your spouse and talking bad about them, I just don't believe in that. I believe if you feel like the best thing for you is to leave either by separation or divorce, make a decision and move on. If that person is doing certain things or engaged in certain things, the truth will come to light and you come off as a better person. So 17 years later, my spouse has nothing bad to say about me. He just can't because I never went out there and tried to do anything to hurt him. Even after all I went through, I never tried to do that because I said I'm going to be the bigger person. And that's what I did, you know. So, T.I. and Tiny, one of them need to grow up.
I think, like I said, the feelings are still raw. So I think they got to get beyond the rawness in their heart and then the egos and pride in their heads. Because, you know, with that pride thing, you're going to fall. But that'll humble you because, like you said, if she go out and do what he did, now he's going to really feel some kind of way. Then all that pride, but see, that will humble him when he had to go through it. Right now, he's not going through it. But if she go out there and meet somebody and start dating and she's going on about her business, doing her thing, she's not doing that to get at him. She's just going on with her life.
Maybe.
But I'm just saying, if she's taking the higher road, if she's trying to get back out,
low road, she'd go holler at the brother or, you know.
I mean, if she's trying to get back out and just doing it to piss him off, then she's not operating any better than he is. That's her pride too. I'm saying once you get beyond your pride, get beyond your you think you're all that on the bag of chip stuff because you ain't. Nobody is the all be all for you. There's always somebody else out there for you. And if it's time to end it with that person, go ahead and move to your next. If your next might be 4 years down the road, but if you don't leave that next and move to that next, then you might make it be 8 years down the road.
Move to the next.
Yeah, I mean, if it's over, it's over.
Mm-hmm. What if T.I. and Tiny's situation was conjured up?
Could be
in the situation room. Yeah, for ratings.
That's why I say I don't trust these unreality shows. I just don't.
And then later on, they're going to get back together. Then that's going to be a big show. Then they're going to have a party, and they probably sell T-shirts.
Yeah,
and they could because
have another baby.
Adopt the African kid. All that.
Yeah, I don't get caught.
But you have to take the
But we're pretending that it's
take the
real.
scenario. No, I mean, but I'm saying it could be anybody. You have to look at your own marriage or situation and see what it is. Are you operating out of pride and egotism, or are you operating out of, like you said, you got the best interest of the kids at heart? Because if it were just two adults, I mean, it really don't matter. You know, they go their separate ways, they argue, bicker, fuss, and fight.
Yeah.
They grown as adults. But we're talking about with six,
Children.
7 kids involved, and they got to see this. Because when I say the word dysfunction, I'm like, oh no, most families ain't. Most families are dysfunctional.
Dysfunctional. Yeah.
But people don't want to admit there's dysfunction in every family. And when you're going through stuff like this, divorce and talking about separation, or even if you're conjuring up stuff, these kids see it, they feel it, and they going to end up either reliving it or having some issues, traumatic issues growing up that's going to cause them to fall, stumble, and fumble, just like the parents are doing. So the parents, if they take the best interest of the kids and try to, you can work out a lot of that stuff behind the scenes,
Oh yeah.
where they don't even have to see it, you know. But when your feelings is all involved in it and your ego, you do it in front of everybody because you want to be seen and heard and be, you know, to be like, you know, I don't
And
need
that was
her.
my
I don't need him.
motivation, my kids, because we have to realize that when you get married, that's your marriage. So I go out, I meet a guy, that's my husband, that's my marriage. When you have children, that becomes the family.
Right.
So when you're divorcing your spouse, not your children. So when you everything that
Say that
you
again. Because
when
that's
you're
what it should, because that's what it
yes,
should be.
yeah,
But that
you're
ain't.
divorcing your spouse, not your children. So when you engage with that person was a parent to their child the whole time, then you have to make sure that you have to stay true to giving them the opportunity to continuously to parent that child. Because as a single mother, there's no way that I would purposely want to exclude a father from a child's life. I want to have a day off because, like, if you're married and you cohabitating with your spouse, and you may have a girls' night, you have a guys' night,
Right.
so that person is staying at home with the kids or whatever. So you have that break. I want to take that break. If I cut the father out, like, my kids can't go see him
Right.
and spend time with him, and then that father is missing those days with the football. I saw on, don't laugh at me, Maury,
Oh,
and the
wow,
lady,
Miss Martin.
and it was 2 years. The baby was 2 years old or 3, and the woman was saying he owed her $20,000, blah blah blah. She said hours. He was like, what? She says, yes. I don't need the money. He owes me the time because he
Wow.
missed out on the first 3 years of his life, and that was so profound to me because that means more than anything. Because even with my children, just being a single parent, when I couldn't give to them financially, my children loved the fact that mother was always there. So nothing could take the place of the time that I spent with them, and that's the connection I have with them. So when you can always change your financial situation,
Right.
but you can't get back that time.
Mm.
And that's what
Yeah.
stood out to me
Powerful.
for her, and that's what she wanted. She wanted the father to be a part of the child's life.
Yeah, and a lot of mothers, once they get past the hurt and stuff, they do want that, they want that male father figure to be a part of the child's life. It ain't about the money or the child support necessarily. That helps, but they still want them to be an active part of the child's life because that child is missing that other parent. I don't care how good a mother you are, you're only one parent. That child know they got another parent and they want to see that parent and they want to spend time with them. You can't fill that void. You can fill your void and make and they okay with that, but they want that other parent too. They want to see that other parent at the games or
At the
at their rehearsals or
graduation,
at whatever they're
yeah.
involved in. They want to know that. They just want to know that the other parent love them. Also they want to know if that's your mother and father. They want to know that they
Because
are
they get
loved
the
by that
feeling of
mother and father.
abandonment. They think they've been abandoned.
Right, and that's what they grow up feeling. And when a child grow up feeling like they are abandoned, oftentimes they have commitment issues. They have commitment. They either hold on too tight or they scared to even to reach out and open up. They scared to, so they can't. They operate as that little child that was abandoned. That's the way they operate as an adult. They don't see it emotionally. That's how they operate. I'm gonna go in on that conversation, not tonight, but I'm doing the book Healing the Hole in the Soul. The book should be out at the end of the month, and my dynamics in the conversation that I have about these relationships will go much deeper. We're gonna have to bring some handkerchiefs because y'all gonna be crying when I get through with you. Because I'm gonna take you down through that. When you talk about healing the hole in the soul, and that's what we're talking about, abandonment issues and all the issues that kids have. But these kids grow up to be adults. The us's, the means and yous that look like healthy adults, but there's so much underneath that's covered up and buried. I get to the root of it. So that's where I'm going with this. I'm taking it step by step, talking about relationship. To me, that's just skimming the surface. It's just brushing it over, but it's much deeper. I'm going deeper with you. We are almost out of time, but we do have a few minutes. Did we get any questions or any comments?
No, not really. I think people are just listening.
Okay. So we won't be live next Thursday. The Thursday after start, the 15th throughout the rest of June, we will be live on Thursday nights. You have anything that's coming up this month that you want to put out there?
Just personal stuff, I'm looking forward to closing on my house and
right.
My business growing. I'm looking at potentially hiring some people. So
can I get a job?
Oh yeah. Definitely. Exactly. Well, I gotta start working with you because I'm looking to, hire the web. Yes, hire the web so I can have my clarity flower.
Internet.
You had a what?
The internet in here. A couple of people. Pierre did say that he was having a little trouble hearing, but I hear fine.
Okay.
And so I'm not sure.
So I'm gonna cut that volume up on his set. Invest in.
He needs to be in the room anyway.
Yeah. So we definitely need to. But let me also say too that we have an event at the Junior League Center, 711 Hillsborough Street on June the 24th. We have the authors, the poets. And we also have the live jazz band and some of the poets going to be in the room. That's going to be June 24th, the last Saturday in June. It's going to be from 5:30 to, I think on the poster it says 9:30, but we're actually going to do this thing until probably about 11, 12 o'clock to closing. So it'll be much longer. But for those that want to, if you're an author and you have a book and you want to promote or you want to come and talk about your book, we do have vendor space available. So get in contact with me. You can see that the flyer is all over Facebook. If you go to my page or any other page, you'll probably see it out there somewhere. We have the vendor space. Any poet that wants to be a part of it, or if you have written poetry or you speak poetry, either way, if you want to be a part of it, come and share your poetry. If you think you can sing and want to, blow a little bit, come out for that also. So I'm looking forward to, and we also have, there'll be food and there'll be some prizes that we'll be giving out along the way also. So I'm looking forward to that event. On later in July, I want to say the last weekend in July, we want to take a trip to Myrtle Beach. I'm going to talk with you about that more next Thursday. Now, where we won't be live next Thursday. On the 15th, I'll say. But again, listen, all those that tune in, I want to thank you all for tuning in. For those that's going to watch it later, please do. Hopefully you get something from it. I appreciate Charlene for being my co-host today, as many a days she's here. Lorinda, appreciate you for
Lorinda.
Good to be here.
Yeah. Keeping us in.
I'm gonna try to be on time.
There.
On the 15th.
15th. Yeah.
Those are my issues. You're gonna fix that?
Oh yeah, I told you we're going in the hole. We're gonna get that hole in soul. Everybody's just gonna.
What is wrong?
We're gonna bring the Kleenexes out.
Oh Lord,
I gotta see that.
And I'm gonna tell you right now before you even when I'm talking about healing the hole in the soul, don't y'all think it's no ministry or no laying hand stuff going on. I'm gonna go ahead and say a cuss word so you know I ain't trying to preach to you. So damn
Okay,
that.
I gotta be on that one.
It ain't gonna be
Yeah,
all
I
that.
gotta be
'Cause,
on that.
you know, when I say healing the hole in the soul, everybody think, oh, this it ain't about no preaching and all of that.
Boom,
No, we get to the real. You can leave. You take your religion on, go to church on Sunday, or go to your Bible study for that. This ain't that kind of. It ain't that kind of party. So I'm gonna let you know that up front. Listen, y'all have a good evening. I appreciate you. We out.
All right.
Take
Good
time to go see
night.
LeBron's.
Braun.
Bron.